Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Take Stock Live, our weekly investor webinar series, live every Wednesday here at 15 minutes after market close. Next week, we're welcoming back CHF Capital for a lineup of mining companies. We have BEX, Benton Resources, IPG, Imperial Mining, and SIC, Sokoman Minerals, coming up next Wednesday. So hope to see you back then. We would like to thank, I think I need to remember talking myself off. I'd like to thank the TMX Group and TSX Venture Exchange, our event partner, for helping keep the conversation between companies and investors going in these very unusual times. We would also like to recognize the vital support provided by our core sponsors, Fasken, MNP, Leigh Jones Gable, Olympia Trust, Dealmaker, and the CSE, who helped launch the forum back in 2014. Thank you also to our extended network for their support in launching this new initiative. Thank you to Calgary Meg and CIM, to Sterling Merchant Capital, Conduit IR, the Newswire, Investment Pitch Media, Kitco, and many others. I will now turn the mic over to my colleague, Mark Francis.
Thank you, Raj. Welcome all of you, our attendees and guest presenters. Note our disclaimer. This presentation is for information only and is not a solicitation to buy or sell stock. Take Stock and its principals, Raj Joshi and Mark Francis, yours truly, may have equity investments in companies we invite to present. And in particular today, I own shares in both IceSoft Technologies, where I am both director and shareholder, and MustGrow Biologics, in which I own shares and warrants from the December private placement. Raj Joshi and I make no representation or investment or other recommendation in regards to these presenting or any other companies. You should do due diligence and seek professional investment advice. Some housekeeping matters. The chat board will not be utilized live in this session. You can still type and send messages, which will be followed up on by the respective companies post-session. So please be clear about to whom it is addressed if you do use the chat board. We will accept questions, by the way, for consideration up to 2 days in advance of each session. Today we have guests from 3 companies active in advancing and commercializing new technologies and innovations. Each company will have a presentation with their PowerPoint, and then we will move to our customary panel discussion with Q&A, this time moderated by Leanne Bialek of MNP. We encourage you to connect with the companies directly in order to get more detailed information. Contact details for the presenters can be found on our website, takestocklive.com. So today we have Brian McKinney, CEO of IceSoft Technologies, with previous success building and selling technology companies. Corey Giasson, CEO of MustGrow Biologics, who previously built and sold a potash company. I had a great chance to own those shares cheaply and confess I missed the opportunity. And Terry Van Horn, entrepreneur and newly appointed CEO of SmartOne, a private technology company out of Southern British Columbia. Terry is also an investor in SmartOne. So let's start with Brian McKinney.
Thank you, Mark. Raj, a little bit on our forward-looking statements. We are a publicly traded company. IceSoft is an innovative and disruptive SaaS firm. We've been around for a number of years. We do have a profitable legacy business, and we've used the profits of that business to develop a new software as a service product that we'll be talking about today called Voyant Alert. This is a highly innovative SaaS product. As you'll see, it's growing very, very rapidly, and we are displacing a number of incumbents in the market. We recently completed a $1.2 million private placement and joined that with a $930,000 debt conversion. So our balance sheet is nice and clean at the moment. So Voyant Alert is a powerful communication service. If you are familiar with the Alert Ready for emergency notifications, very similar to that in nature. Where we differ from that is in the nature of the product that we're servicing and delivering. Current solutions tend to rely heavily on a text-based kind of notification service. The messaging seems to be very generic in nature. So with Voyant Alert, we apply a much more richer format to the communication package. So people can understand where they are relative to the different events that are going on at the time. 60% of North Americans live in towns and communities of less than 100,000 residents. And about 50% of those currently lack a solution to talk to their residents during an emergency. There are existing solutions out there, as you'll see. However, they tend to target more the high urban centers. And one of the things that drew our attention to this space was that, we're keenly aware that a solution that works well for a Toronto or a Calgary or Vancouver doesn't always translate to a community of 40 or 50,000 people. We launched the product in Q1 of 2018, and as you can see from that time forward, we've had quite a run. We ended off the year with about a 480% year-over-year growth at about 82 communities across Canada that are under service. That's subsequently grown. So if you can imagine extending that inflection point on that graph throughout Q1, that's pretty much what we're continuing to see. So some remarkable growth. In terms of our revenue model that we see for the product, we have three components. So we do charge an upfront subscription fee to the community. Roughly speaking, it's about 30 cents per resident per year. On top of that, we also overlay a usage fee. So the more they use the service in a given year, sending out more and more notifications, we take a couple of pennies per every transaction on that. And then in the third category, we have a bunch of community relevant services that we upsell these communities on. So maybe it's a lone man monitoring solution, for example, or a 311 community incident reporting kind of a service. And so our objective here as we move through time is we want to be selling to more communities. We want the communities to be larger, and we want them to use the service more. So not just for emergencies, but for general day-to-day usage, for things like remove your vehicles off the road. We have a snowplow coming by, that sort of thing. There are others out on the market, most notably ConnectRocket, Everbridge, and OnSolve are out there. We have run head-to-head them in competition for on and off about 20, 25 times in the last 9 months. Happy to say that in each one of those engagements, we came out the victor and managed to win the deal. So we're certainly resonating with our client base out there in terms of what we're doing. As a data point, Everbridge is probably the market leader in the space. They're doing about 220 million a year in revenue, and during this COVID breakout, they are trading at all-time highs. So my wrap-up slide here, what is life like during COVID and whatnot? As I mentioned before we got started here, we're in the business of providing emergency alerting services, and we're doing so in the middle of a global pandemic. So things here at iSoft have been extraordinarily busy over the last little bit. Our system usage is up 500% from year end 2019. So we're getting quite the work out there. In terms of our near-term pipeline, as with many companies, we've noticed that it has slowed down. In our case, it's slowed down because a lot of the key decision makers, town councils, the fire chiefs, the emergency response people, are prioritized on the COVID-19 response, as they should be. And that's forced us to kind of pivot a little bit towards providing a focus on support, as some of the other folks that we have in the pipeline are busy using the service a lot more than what they originally thought they would. Longer term, we think this kind of event provides focus to our industry and to our solution. Communities are certainly recognizing the necessity for these kinds of communication tools in their future. And the other qualifying piece that we would add is probably that about 66% of our qualified leads now are coming through service referrals from existing clients, which kind of bodes well for our future. That's it for me, Mark. Wrap it up real quick and pass the baton.
Thank you very much, Brian. Now, Corey Giasson.
Thanks, Mark. It's a pleasure for me to present to you today Musgrow Biologics Corp. Here's our disclaimer. You can read it on our website. It's your typical forward-looking statement disclaimer. So Musgrow, we're listed on the CSE under the ticker symbol MGRO, and we are an ag biotech company based out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And our focus is to provide natural, science-based biological solutions to replace synthetic chemicals, specifically those used in high-value crops such as in fruit and vegetables. As you read in newspapers almost weekly now, you hear stories about companies being sued and that, or chemistries being deregistered or banned. The big driver of this is that consumers want a healthy, safe food supply, and regulators are providing them with that. Producers, they want to use healthy, safe products, but the most important thing for them is that these products need to work. And what we've found with our technology, which is derived from the mustard seed, is that our natural biopesticide, as a pre-plant soil treatment for soil-borne pests and diseases, it has similar to efficacy to that of synthetic chemicals, and that is significant. We've completed over 110 independent studies that shows that our product is not only safe but effective. And now with our new liquid formulation, there's a good opportunity here for us to also have a product that can compete on price compared to synthetic chemicals. And we look forward to getting this product into the market here within the next year. This is all with a very tight capital structure, 37 million shares outstanding, of which 14 million is currently free trading on the CSE. Management and advisors own about 22% of the 37 million shares outstanding. And we were fortunate in December of last year to raise over $3 million. So we have enough cash on hand, about $3 million, to obtain our registrations for our new liquid formulation in North America here. So what is the difference between biological products and chemistries? The global ag pesticide market is about $65 billion, and the vast majority of those are chemistries. Those are very effective products that can be used, but a lot of them are harmful. For instance, methyl bromide has been known to cause cancers, specifically in farm workers. Biologic products, on the other hand, are safe and natural, but they are not necessarily as effective as chemistries. What we're noticing with our technology that's derived from the mustard seed is that it's not only safe and natural, but is also just as effective as synthetic chemicals such as methyl bromide at controlling soil-borne pests and diseases. So as I mentioned, our technology is derived from the mustard seed. We extract the natural compounds within, and these compounds can be used to treat soil-borne pests and diseases such as nematodes or fusarium. The technology is organic. The original technology was in granular form, and it has a registration with the EPA and the PMRA as a biopesticide. We're now looking to bridge that existing registration, which is the granular registration, for our new liquid formulation. Again, the new liquid formulation has got the same, it's derived from mustard seed. It's got the same active ingredient. The only difference is that it's in a liquid form and in a form that fruit and vegetable growers can apply through their drip tanks. We estimate that there's good potential for us to have this liquid formulation registration done by the end of this year, early next year, Q1 2021, which would be very quick in terms of getting a registration done, given the fact that it's not a new product. It's piggybacking off an existing technology that's already registered. So as I mentioned, the global ag pesticide market is quite large, about 65 billion, and there's lots of different market segments within it. What you see here highlighted in yellow, the yellow bubbles here, are markets that we've already done testing or we've had commercial sales in. For instance, we had about $700,000 of sales in our first generation granular technology in the fruit and vegetable industry as a fumigant in that industry. Lots of it which were repeat sales. The only issue was is that we weren't able to generate positive net income on those sales, and we came up with our second generation technology, which should be more less costly to transport from Saskatoon down to the States, and we feel will be it'll be economic, and that to get our liquid formulation or liquid technology into that market. On the tobacco side, I mean, it's a massive industry. Nematodes are a huge issue. We've proven that we can control nematodes just as effective as synthetic chemicals, so we look forward to penetrating that market. What's interesting here is some of the blue bubbles. These are market segments that we haven't tested in, but we look forward to doing relatively cheap tests in to do proof of concept. For instance, we just announced today a test that we had done on clubroot. Our initial lab tests on clubroot show that we can control the spores that cause clubroot, which is a huge issue in the canola industry. If a farmer gets clubroot in their field, they won't be able to grow canola in that field for 15 years. So it's a huge cost to that farmer where they can't grow one of their number one cash crops out here in Western Canada, and that. But we've done lab tests to show that we can control clubroot there. Now we're going to take it to the greenhouse and then into the field to complete this testing, and we feel that our technology has good potential for that market. Another area of interest would be in bananas. The Panama disease is causing havoc with countries around the world that grow bananas. For instance, Colombia has indicated a state of emergency in that country for Panama disease that is affecting their bananas. We're looking forward here now to importing our product into Colombia so that we can do this test to see if we can help treat this disease. They've tested numerous products, but none of which have worked. So for a very low cost, it'd be interesting to see if this mustard-based technology can work in bananas, which is causing issues around the globe, and that. So that's all I have here for MustGrow here today, Mark, and I'll pass it on.
Thank you very much, Corey. And last up on the presentation, Terry Van Horn. Terry.
Hi there, how are you? I want to thank everyone for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Terry Van Horn, and I'm the CEO of SmartOne Technologies. I believed so much in SmartOne that, as Mark mentioned, not only am I the lead investor, I quit my job to join the team. I'm here today to give a quick overview of our product and why you should invest in us. So SmartOne Technologies is a Nelson-based SaaS technology company modernizing the antiquated vending machine industry with a bolt-on cloud-powered intelligent touch screen. Our web-based interface technology allows retailers to monitor business shifts in real time and collect business intelligence through analytics and reporting, while providing instant access to almost any product, ranging from fresh foods to electronics, jewelry, to recycled bags, to hand sanitizers and condoms. Our SmartOne pod here, our personalized on-demand pod shown in this screen, is an alternative to between the bricks and mortar and online shopping, getting products into the hands of the consumers quicker and easy in a safe and efficient way without any intermediaries. It's interesting doing this clicking of the screen. Our solution is the same for most applications, which allows us to be nimble in times like now when health and wellness has become a global priority. We are addressing the current health crisis with community organization partnerships to get our machines in the market as fast as possible using contactless, voice-activated, and visual identification technologies to deliver much needed information on the pandemic and other health-related issues, as well as dispensing much needed equipment like masks and hand sanitizers. This is our testing ground to get revenues in the door and allow us the path to pursue the retail sector, where in our minds the big money is. The North American intelligent vending market is relatively untapped. However, we are positioned to dominate this market with partnerships with major brands like Playboy. We've been working with the major distributor of Playboy condoms for the past 4 months to provide a sexy way using our technologies to get their products into the market fast and affordably. Imagine having Smart One pods in casinos and bars and colleges and universities. Well, probably not right now, but when we can, imagine being able to put these pods where their customers are actually there and having the ability to increase the visibility and the brand awareness of their products by allowing each machine to have independent messaging targeted to specific audiences and specific locations. Also, imagine increasing the sales and revenues through better understanding what the user is buying, but not only buying, what they're actually touching on the screen and what are they looking at. Allowing retailers to customize their products and messages to reflect these preferences. Also, the ability to increase market share by attracting new customers with this really great 4-foot high-D digital touchscreen. It's a very powerful way to dominate a category and fast. This is the first step to what promises to be a lucrative opportunity, as our partner also has a solid relationship with the world's largest retail chain. Together, we are creating an affordable, industry-unique, secure retail platform, providing theft and eliminating lock and key systems. It's so annoying as a consumer to go and have to find a salesperson to unlock a product. How many of us have never even bought it because it's just too time consuming? Think about it. Theft prevention alone is a $45 million annual loss for one category, for this one retailer. If we solve this problem for them, we solve the entire category problem for all large retailers, ultimately making us the secure retail solution kings. So you can see here, we are on the cusp of generating revenues. We have 10 test pods, including one on site at the world's largest retail demonstration store, that's collecting data and proving the technologies as I speak. We expect to be generating sales revenue by the end of summer and to break even by the end of 2021. Here are a few of our customers that have signed LOIs, and we are in discussions with a handful more. It is with manufacturing and distribution partners like Betsend and Goldfinger, who actually allow us to be a bolt-on solution and using our SaaS technologies to improve an existing industry. We do not manufacture vending machines or kiosks. We are the technology that makes these antiquated machines smart. We have raised a total of $625,000 to date through 30 friends and family these past couple of years, and have secured $177,000 NRC IRAP grant for another 18 months. We're looking to raise additional $625,000 by the end of the summer, which would close our $1 million seed round B. We will use this money to complete the Playboy pilot and finalize our secure retail solution. Our vision is to provide universal, convenient, accessible, and trusted automated retail solutions to connect the world. They say timing is everything. We say the timing is now. Invest in us to build innovative technology that will get products into the hands of the people who need them instantly, anytime, anywhere. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Terry. So now we'll bring all three of our presenters on, and Leanne Bialik. Leanne is an audit and assurance partner with our very long-standing sponsor, MNP. And she will be moderator for the panel Q&A session. Thank you for joining us, Leanne, today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for all our guests as well as those great presentations that you've all provided to us. So I'm just going to start some questions for everyone within the group here. First question being is, what is your short to medium-term risks that really keep you awake at night? Perhaps I'll start with Brian.
Sure, thanks. Can you hear me? Just
yes.
Double checking on that one. You know, for us on the private side, it's have we thought through all of the different contingencies that we need to. We're an emergency alerting company. It's something that we can't afford to have go down in the middle of an emergency, so, for example. So, you know, what we think about, even though we're hyper vigilant on making sure systems are operating properly, you know, we keep looking for that point of break in the system. Where might it become? Where might it be? And what can we do to protect against that?
For Musgrow Biologics Corp, for us, being a pre-revenue company, access to capital has always been one of the biggest risks that I see. We were fortunate in December to raise, over $3 million. So we have enough cash on hand for the next couple of years and for us to get our registrations complete. But now with COVID-19, we have to assess how long that's going to take and, what are the risks going forward with access to capital for the future.
Mm-hmm. The big one. Yeah. Terry, what about you?
As a startup, of course, having financial security is one of our biggest, worries that keeps us up at night right now. And like most companies that are here using this platform to be able to speak to a larger audience, functionality for having many different customers has also turned out to be something that we need to be more aware of, to be able to provide the service and the functionality that the customers are requesting in a timely manner. And then making sure that we are moving forward as technology changes, as priorities change with COVID and stuff like that, being able to be nimble enough to shift our priorities and service the right markets at the right time.
Perfect. So I guess that kind of leads into the next question is what would you consider your largest market risk or technological risk? So you spoke a little bit already, Terry, about your technological risk and being able to be nimble and move with it. For the rest of the panel here, what would you consider is your largest technological risk that you're facing?
Our technological risk, the big part about is being able to integrate as everybody else's technology is changing. We're not reinventing the world. We are a plug and play into existing technologies and staying up to date with existing technologies like Shopify, like Nayax, and being able to integrate our solution into them without having it changing all the time for us is a huge technological consideration for us. But we continue to have really great partners, and we continue to make sure that we have the right people on board that can be able to do that for us. And so, yeah, it's always a challenge when you're in the technology market for sure.
Yeah, I'd certainly like to follow up on that and build on what Terry was saying. For ourselves, for iSoft, we're a SaaS company, and we typically rely on a fairly complex system of third-party service providers. So whether that's, Amazon providing our cloud services, or whether that's Twilio and TELUS sending out that last mile of communication, if a break happens somewhere along that line, we can be in trouble. A good example is with our mobile app running on the different operating systems and Android phones. All it takes is for Android or Apple to tweak that operating system unbeknownst to us, and all of a sudden we're now in a very responsive mode and reactive mode rather than trying to deal with an issue rather than having it under our control from the beginning.
Yeah, on the agriculture side, the market risk. Well, we're looking to get our technology commercialized in an existing market. The ag pesticide market, $65 billion. Consumers want safe, natural products, and regulators are moving that way, and that in deregistering harmful pesticides and synthetic chemicals and that. So we feel that the market risk is limited for us. On the technology side, there's always interesting novel technologies, in any industry that come available. For us to use the mustard seed, we're basically using what farmers have used for generations. A lot of times they've used mustard as a cover crop to help fight off pests and diseases, and now we've basically harnessed those natural compounds within the mustard seed and are looking forward to providing a technology that can be commercialized as a biopesticide.
So we've had all these challenges that have come about because of COVID. How has it impacted your companies, and have you had to be able to what has been your response in relation to the COVID pandemic?
Sure, maybe we'll start with myself. For us, COVID, I guess it's for everybody. It's been quite different working. In terms of for us to do our testing or get our product imported into countries such as the US for testing, or Colombia for testing on the bananas, for instance, we've definitely seen a delay there. It's definitely slowed down. But we are working through those, and it's just a matter of time when things start getting back to normal in terms of, workers getting back to work. We're seeing that happening here in Saskatchewan. They opened up retail outlets here in Saskatchewan this past week, and we're starting to see the approvals coming for us to get our products imported into some of these countries. So we're looking forward to that happening here pretty soon.
And for us, it's interesting. COVID has pushed us to make sure we're innovating technologies around the contactless and the voice activation mechanisms on our pods, which has then in turn actually opened up new markets for us to be able to provide these services to specific customers who are looking for a safe way to distribute products. And with the COVID grants and the money through the province for technology companies to access to make safer products for the Canadians, we've been fortunate enough to be successful in securing a few grants in terms of getting our machines into the communities to provide services for them in a safe way, not only keeping the people that are usually distributing the services safe from the clients, but the clients safe from having to go into any other company or business. They can get it externally. So in some ways, that's really activated our health and wellness stream, which we actually have a joint venture around that, and that's helped us get there. It's helped us pivot because, of course, retail was our main focus originally when we first started marketing our product, and so being able to find another product, another vertical to be able to concentrate on at this time has been very advantageous for us.
Yeah, for us, it's been a little different. I mean, as a cloud-based software company, we're particularly well adapted, operationally speaking, to handle distributed employees and work at home kind of environments. We've been busier than ever, with the COVID response. But from a sales perspective, as I alluded to earlier, our short-term pipeline, it's tough to sell when the key decision makers are unreachable. And in a lot of these cases, the primary contacts that we have who make the purchase decision are rightfully so. They're busy dealing with their own day-to-day COVID emergencies that they have to within their communities. So we responded with that one, recognizing that long-term, this is fueling our engine. Everybody, it kind of underscores the need for our different community members to have this ability to communicate. So we don't really worry about the long term. In the short term, we made the decision to pivot away from sales a little bit for these first 2 or 3 months and just focus on providing stellar support. So getting out in front of all of the support requirements. So whether that means, some of our community members have employees that are down ill with COVID in a number of cases, and us stepping up and running and handling communications on their behalf for them. So that kind of behavior.
So Brian, Voyant Alerts recently expanded into quite a few municipalities. Is there any potential additional industries that you can think of that where the Voyant Alert would be a great addition?
Yeah, there's a couple of low-hanging fruit opportunities that we want to go after. The nearest term one is certainly in the enterprise market, where communities of businesses either at a campus level, so like a large FedEx facility or things like that, where they need to contact and talk to and access their employees at any given time. So we're already selling into that market as well. We probably have 4 or 5 deals there. The second one is in home construction. So people where you might have lone workers that are involved and you need to kind of monitor location and status there. And then the third one is certainly insurance. So whether that's auto insurance, move your vehicle out of the way because the hailstorm is approaching, or travel insurance. So maybe you have a son or daughter who's taking a gap year traveling in Europe, and wouldn't you like that peace of mind knowing that there is a communication service there to alert them to things that might be going on nearby?
That's great. Question for you, Corey. So within a recent company press release, it might be a few weeks or months old now, there was an initiative for a South American strategy. Does that involve some of the Panama issues that you mentioned with the bananas?
Yeah, it does. So we're looking to get our product tested or into Colombia to test on the Panama disease for bananas. And we figured, well, you know, South America obviously is a very large and important market for agriculture. We are now concurrently going to be getting applying for regulatory approval of our technology in Colombia, and then from there branching out and getting regulatory in other countries within South America, such as Brazil and that. So so we're not just focused on North America, Canada, the US to get regulatory approval as a biopesticide, but now also Colombia, and then branching out from there.
Question for you, Terry. So how does Smart One Technologies and intelligent touchscreens, how does it really differentiate itself from others? Are there other competitors that are on the marketplace right now?
Yes, our biggest competitor is Popcom out of the United States, and they're a very similar company. Our biggest differentiator is that we do not manufacture vending machines and kiosks. We've partnered with distributors and manufacturers of the products, and we bolt on our touch screen with the technologies that are attached to it. You see lots of vending machines out there that are actually digital and touchscreen, but they don't have any interconnectivity through the network. They're not networked together. So our machines can actually talk to any other of our machines in the world, anywhere they are, and they can actually connect to the internet. So you could order something from the internet, and if you knew that the vending machine had it down the street, you could actually order your product on the internet. They send you a code or a QR code or a number, and you can walk down the street and go get it out of the vending machine. And so our competitors of Popcom, they offer a very similar solution, but they are still building their own vending machines, so it prices them out of the market. You're paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 just for the actual vending machine, and then the SaaS on top of it. For us, our vending machines are around $15,000, and then the SaaS on top of that. But they buy it through the vending machine operators, and we don't have to do any of that stuff. We just worry about the technologies.
So a question for everybody. So you're introducing new technologies or unique services into the market. Could you maybe give us a few examples of how you had to deal with some challenges gaining market adoption?
Yeah, when we entered the market for the first time, we took a look around, and certainly, right, you know, we were being pulled in from our existing clients, from our legacy client base, and we took a look around at the alerting market. And you know, there are other companies out there that provide a service for doing that, and some of them quite effectively. We decided to kind of shift a little bit more to the left. So rather than focus, as most people do traditionally, on large urban deployments, we optimize the product for more smaller, more rural communities. So we're selling to counties, regional districts, towns of 120,000 and less. So a number of our clients are in a small community as 2,000 to 4,000 folks, for example, and making it tailored for that. So going where other people aren't.
Yeah, for Muscro, for us to get our technology adopted into the market, and that, I mean, we've spent $10 million plus, completed over 110 independent studies, all the way from lab studies into the field with reputable companies, that shows that our technology is efficacious compared to synthetic chemicals, so that the technology works. And then that once you get it registered, you're going to have to test it with farmers, and they're not going to want to put it on every acre. They're going to slowly test it and adopt it and all that. And with our initial first generation technology, we did have sales, and some of that was repeat sales. Unfortunately, it wasn't economic. So we're now looking forward to this new liquid version doing the same, and hopefully being economic and getting quick market penetration into the fruit and vegetable industry. So
For Smart One Technologies, we're right at that stage now, and that's really all about the Playboy partnership, and then of course having the partnership with the major retailer. Being able to have a rollout of 300 or 500 machines across North America with our logo on their branding and distributing it on a mass retail opportunity, the adoption I feel is optimistic for that. Also having, if we solve a problem for one retailer, they're all similar needs, and then we feel that that's going to be the steamroller into adopting our technologies. The interesting part is that our countries in North America, we don't use vending or any kind of on any level that you see in other countries, especially countries that don't have the landmass that we have. And so the industry is ripe for adoption, and people wrapping their minds around using these kinds of technologies to get their product quickly and easily without having to wait for somebody to get you to the door.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Leanne, for an excellent job moderating the Q&A.
Thank you, everyone.
So in closing, we will now give each of our presenters a closing comment. Brian McKinney.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Leanne. Yeah, basically iSoft, we're providing a software as a service solution. It's filling a critical need right now. Super sticky market. We're shooting the lights out on sales, and we're beating the competition at every turn. That's it.
Great. Thank you. Corey Giasson, Must Grow Biologics.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Must Grow, we're taking a product that is grown in southern Saskatchewan and southern Alberta, and that we use just about every day as a food product, and we're extracting the natural compounds from it and to be used as a pre-plant biopesticide for high-value crops such as in fruit and vegetables. So looking forward to getting our product into the market.
Excellent, Corey. Terry Van Horn, Smart One.
Thanks, Mark. Again, our products are ripe. It's the right time to get into the market with the vending. They're with new COVID rules about distancing and being able to access machines that are spread out and more evenly. You don't have to hang out in stores and get your products with a whole bunch of people. You can get them outdoors. I think we're hitting the market at the right time.
Very good, Terry. So thank you, Brian, Corey, and Terry. And to you,
thanks, Mark.
And to you, our attendees, thank you for your time today. Do go to the company websites and SEDAR, learn more about these companies, and check in at takestocklive.com. Until next Wednesday, 15 minutes after market close, when we will have 3 mining companies presenting, be determined in your due diligence and ask tough questions. Mark and Raj signing out from Take Stock Live.